Good afternoon, South Georgia, and thanks for tuning in to this breaking news edition of What's Going On. I'm Jamie Worsley for WAOB News 10. Within just the past 30 minutes, WAOB has learned new details in a 2010 cold case arrest out of Coffee County, Georgia. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation's Douglas office just gave a live press conference, and WAOB was able to take you there as we heard from special agents in charge about how they were able to make an arrest nearly 16 years after Sandra Robinson was murdered inside a prepaid cell phone store. But before we tell you about the suspect arrested, I want to start by telling you a little bit about the victim in this case. A mother of four, a loved community member there in Douglas, Coffee County. Her name was Sandra Robinson. Again, Sandra Robinson was murdered inside that prepaid cell phone store in 2010 from, quote, multiple sharp force wounds. Authorities actually believe her murder occurred during open business hours at that prepaid cell phone store. And you might be thinking, okay, it was during normal business hours. How did no one see anyone coming or going? And that is the question investigators and Sandra Robinson's family members have been wondering for nearly the last 16 years. I actually went to this location when we did a special edition of Pining, a Southwest Georgia podcast, and it was interesting to me to see that, again, this store is located in a public area. There are several other businesses around: PCC Probation, a Walgreens, Flash Foods, Roundtree Park. So again, this is not a secluded little area in Douglas. This is where there is a lot of foot traffic. And so investigators just delivered the update at that press conference and said they were able to make an arrest because of re-examining physical forensic evidence from the scene. And speaking of that arrest, we do have that mugshot now. You can take a look at it on your screen. 58-year-old Willie James Jr. of Wayne County, Georgia, a known associate of Sandra's, arrested. He faces multiple charges, including malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. And again, as I just mentioned, this case nearly 16 years ago taking place in Douglas, and now an arrest just being announced this morning. WAOB News 10 was actually able to bring you a little bit of information about the arrest yesterday because a high-placed, well-known source to this investigation gave us a heads up a day in advance of this press conference. So this has actually been live on WAOB.com for a little bit over 24 hours now. I do want to mention the name of the suspect again, Willie James Jr. Previous reports actually referred to him as James Willie Jr., but we are getting clarification this morning. Willie James Jr. is that suspect's name from Wayne County, Georgia. Again, this case remained on the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's website as an unsolved case for 16 years. And today, Sandra's family got the closure that they had been waiting for. I want to take you now to that full press conference that WAOB attended just moments ago in Douglas so that you can hear for yourself how they were able to crack this case so many years later.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Hamilton. I am the special agent in charge of the Region 4 office. We are here today to announce the arrest of Willie James Jr. for the murder of Sandra Robinson. But before I discuss this case, I want to introduce you to Sandra. We have photos here. She was known as a loving daughter, sister, and devoted mother to 4 children. She was a longtime member of the Douglas community and a member of the Macedonia Baptist Church, where she loved to sing. She was known for being family-oriented, a people person, and a hard worker. On March 17, 2010, the Douglas Police Department requested the GBI Region 4 office after they received a 911 call at the prepaid superstore doors were locked, but during business hours. Sandra's boyfriend came to the store to pick Sandra up that day. He called 911 when he couldn't reach her, and the store doors were locked. Law enforcement eventually was able to gain access to the store and found Sandra stabbed and killed in the back of the store. Through the years, the agents and investigators, both past and present, conducted numerous interviews, collected evidence, did neighborhood canvasses, reviewed surveillance footage from the area, and continued to reevaluate items of evidence for potential new leads. While this case may have been deemed cold, it was never forgotten. Eventually, the GBI's cold case unit received a request and an in-depth review of the case occurred. The GBI's cold case unit, along with Region 4 agents and local investigators, came up with an investigative strategy that eventually led to agents being able to tie Willie James to the crime scene through conclusive forensic evidence. James was a known associate of Sandra and was also known to frequent the store. Agents were able to obtain arrest warrants for Willie James Jr. for malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. James was arrested by the GBI on March 2, 2026 in Valdosta, Georgia, with the assistance of the Valdosta Police Department and the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office. After his arrest, James was booked into Coffee County Jail, where he remains. The resolution of this case should serve as a powerful reminder to families still waiting for answers in cold cases that time does not diminish investigators' commitment. Even in some of the most difficult and long-lasting cases, investigators continue to review evidence, continue to follow leads, and use advancing technology to pursue answers. While no outcome can erase years of unanswered questions and loss, each solved case should renew hope that persistence matters and justice remains possible. The next speaker is going to be Special Agent in Charge, Brian Whitby.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Brian Whitby, Special Agent in Charge of the GBI Office of Special Investigations, Cold Case Unit. I want to give you a brief background on the Cold Case Unit. In 2023, the Georgia Legislature, Governor Kemp, signed into law the Coleman-Baker Act, which had a big impact on today in bringing us here. They not only created the Coleman-Baker Act, where it allows family members of victims of unsolved cases to be able to request a reinvestigation, a relook at that particular case. And not only did the legislature and Governor Kemp sign Coleman-Baker Act into law, but they fully funded the GBI's cold case unit. And then in 2024, Sandra's family applied for the Coleman-Baker Act, and that's when our office, the cold case unit, became involved with our Douglas Region 4 Investigative Office, local police department here in Douglas. So I like to say, we refer to it as a cold case unit, but these cases are never really cold. They're just unsolved for a little while. Sometimes they take 5 years, 10 years, 16 years in this case, but investigators locally, the GBI local office, and the cold case unit, we're always looking at these and trying to come to a resolution. So I want to thank Douglas Police Department, the Coffee County Sheriff's Office, the local GBI office here in Douglas for partnering with our office, the cold case unit, to bring a resolution. All right. And the next person we have is District Attorney Marilyn Bennett.
Good morning. My name is Marilyn Bennett. I'm the District Attorney for the Waycross Judicial Circuit, and we serve Coffee County. This week's arrest marks a pivotal moment in the many years of investigation to the death of Ms. Sandra Robinson, and our office looks forward to working with all of our law enforcement partners, the GBI, Douglas Police Department, Coffee County Sheriff's Office, to bring closure to Ms. Robinson's family and the community in accordance with the law. As this case is an open investigation, our office will be unable to make any further comments until we have closure in the courtroom. Next, we will hear from Mr. Trey Robinson, the son of Ms. Sandra Robinson.
First, I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to give a thanks to my family as well as my friends, just for coming to support my family during this time. Whenever my mom passed away, it was life-changing for me, not only for me but for my entire family. I was very close with my mom. We had a sister and brother relationship. So my mom's death is what led me into pursuing a career in law enforcement. I became a certified police officer back in 2016, and it has always been my goal to fight for justice for my mom. and for my entire family, because my mom did not deserve what happened to her. So again, ever since then, like I've fought and I've fought and I've fought for her justice, and I'm glad that today I'm able to stand here. I thought I was going to be emotional. It's a somber moment for me. I'm just glad that I'm just able to stand here and talk in this very moment that an arrest has been made in my mom's case. I want to give thanks to everyone that played a part in my mom's investigation. Again, the Douglas Police Department, Coffee County Sheriff's Office, and the GBI. I want to thank Agent Holland. He's been in consistent contact with me, and I definitely appreciate him. I remember having a conversation with him and about my mom's case when I first sent in the request to reopen my mom's investigation, and I prayed. And one of my prayers was was for God to lead everyone that had any type of part in this investigation, to lead them to the information that they needed to help solve this case. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of, just being here today, it kind of brings back like a lot of memories. It kind of opens up wounds, but I can say it's like a breath of fresh air now that the person responsible for my mom's murder has been arrested. So I said to myself, like, I was not going to go another year without knowing who did this to my mom. And so for an arrest to be made 16 days before her anniversary date, which is on March the 17th, that is amazing to me, and I feel as though that is a divine moment. I know that it doesn't stop from here. There's still work to do, but at least the person that's responsible for taking my mom's life is in custody. And again, I just want to thank everybody, even along the years, for giving me encouraging words, encouraging my family, even support from my law enforcement family as well is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
And the law enforcement agencies went on to go and answer questions related to the case after Trey, Sandra's son, stepped down from the podium. But because WAOB was in the room, we were able to also speak with family members after that press conference. And so coming up in our later newscast today, we will have updates from family members and reaction from them as they process the news from this morning's press conference. Again, you just heard from Trey Robinson, Sandra's son, who actually went on to become a law enforcement investigator because of the influence that his mom's case had over his life. You heard in that press conference that it was actually Sandra's family who petitioned the GBI to reopen her case as part of the GBI's Cold Case Review Board and that process. But there are a lot of families here in Southwest Georgia who do not have that level of recourse. The Coleman-Baker Act only covers cases where the GBI was listed as an original agency on the case. So whether they were investigated to assist a law enforcement agency or even involved in certain types of advanced testing or were requested in some other type of way, only those cases are eligible for cold case review right now. And so I've been working with local senators, representatives, all the way up to U.S. Senator John Ossoff's office to see if there's a way that we could move forward in expanding the Coleman-Baker Act to allow other families from rural South Georgia communities with maybe law enforcement agencies with fewer resources or investigative power to be able to give them the opportunity for their cases to be reviewed after a certain period of time has passed, after a certain amount of stagnation in a case. And so that's something we're going to continue working on here at WALB. We cover cases just like Sandra's in our Pining podcast. That podcast looks at cases from rural South Georgia communities that are still unsolved and still awaiting answers. We were honored to cover Sandra's case in the Pining podcast last year, or actually in January, of last year. And so If you'd like more information about Sandra's case, make sure you check out Pining at WALB.com. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, the WALB News app, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Well, with that, we are just so grateful to bring you that breaking news update. We do apologize for earlier audio issues, but those do seem to be resolved now. So again, thank you so much for tuning in to What's Going On. We will continue coverage from this evolving story throughout the day, so make sure you stay with us on all of our platforms. We'll see you at noon.